Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I am your host, Ty Christensen. Honey, don't interrupt me. I'm in the middle of an incantation.
Yes, my sweet.
And we've got, yes, my sweet, dinner. I'm in the middle of something. Now! Jordan Christensen is on the pod.
Oh, man, did you make me kill my wife for nothing?
And we have Nick on the podcast.
This bloody moon better make me bloody rich.
Yes.
Exactly.
Selling his soul for that money.
Yeah.
Do you have nightmares after eating cheese? You might have eaten a ghost. What?
Dude, my favorite is just when he's holding, I'm sorry, I gotta say it right away, just him holding that staff and it's like aiming. It's aiming at the virgin. Oh my gosh.
Great, maybe you should start when you're closer into town. Yeah, probably. Dude, Will Forte, oh my gosh. Guys, we were reviewing Extraordinary. Oh my gosh, guys. Will Forte is so good in this. I love this movie. So this movie came out in 2019, and it was directed by... sorry, my computer's being a little slow. Sorry. It's being a little slow. The town is back that way. Okay. Dumb and Dumber. All right, so here we go. We've got directors. We got Mike Arnn and Enda Lohman. And it was written by Damian Fox, Maeve Higgins, Mike Arnn. And it stars, guys, not seeing the cast.
Look harder.
Oh, here we are. Maeve Higgins. Oh, one of the writers. There you go. Barry Ward, Will Forte, Claudia Doherty, and Jamie Beamish. So let's get into this movie. What was it like watching the movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? Let's start with you, Jordan.
So I came across this movie through Arrow Video, which they do a lot of cult classics. I love them. And, I mean, they have got a lot of trash movies too. But through all of those movies, though, once in a while I find movies like this, and I'm like, I am so glad I sifted through all that other garbage to finally find this movie, because this movie is so freaking funny. Oh, I love this movie. And yeah, I don't know if I laughed as hard the second time as I did the first, but I definitely enjoyed it. It's very fun. I kind of wish I watched it with somebody this time.
I know. What is it with you? You make a habit of watching really enjoyable group movies all alone.
All alone.
I'm so lonely. And that's you, Jordan. Just sitting there watching a movie all alone.
It's true.
Crying while you're eating some food.
Hot dogs. It'd be hot dogs.
Yeah, eating a hot dog. Yeah. It's the only meat you know how to cook.
Jordan. There's hot dogs.
Some gas station pizza.
Yeah.
We love it.
That's for lunch.
Yep, that's for lunch.
That's lunch. Dinner's the hot dog.
There's a hot dog. Or bacon. I know how to cook some bacon.
Hey, and,
all right.
and my fiance makes those burritos, so, now we get a microwave burritos together.
And microwave burritos.
Wait, what microwave burritos? Which ones?
Those ones you get at the store, just the microwavable ones.
I don't get microwavable burritos.
Yeah. I know.
All right. We're not as good a cook as you.
Yeah,
okay,
hey,
Nick?
what is this, a dietitian show? Come on. We're talking about movies here, Nick. Come on, let's not judge Jordan's terrible eating habits, where he ate an entire pound of bacon and said, oh, my stomach doesn't feel so good. Maybe because you have botulism, Jordan.
Yeah, maybe.
All right,
yes,
so let's
movies.
get into this.
It
Yeah,
is.
movies.
It is.
Nick, what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast?
Well, as with most of the movies, my first time watching this was for the podcast, but I watched it twice, as always.
Yeah.
And when you guys had told me about the movie, I didn't know if I would like it because it's classified as a comedy horror, and that's
Don't you like the
honestly,
scary movies though?
Yeah.
Really?
Scary movie was a little different. I mean, like
It is very different.
Okay.
It is very different.
I
even
it
told
is.
Nick before he saw it. Yeah, I was like, it's kind of like scary movie. But I'm like, wait.
yeah.
It's not
you
at
put
all
it in my
like
head.
scary
I was
movie.
like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Scary Movie, but I
Really?
Some of them were funny. I'm not gonna lie, they were funny, but some of them were just downright weird.
I just thought you were always joking about the guy with the little hand putting his hand into the pie.
So again, there are funny parts to them. But
Oh yeah, like
That is
I
funny.
will be honest. I know they're terrible movies, but some
And
of
that's
those
one of the
jokes make me
originals.
laugh so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Scary Movie 3 had me laughing so hard. The stupidest thing. Yeah, if you think that's strange, you should see how we pee. He's got his finger in his mouth.
I know.
So gross, so stupid.
So I didn't know. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, I'm not gonna like this, but I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was funny, and all the funny stuff was really subtle. I mean, it was good. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't like too goofy, too crazy. I actually thought it didn't give me a horror vibe at all. Even should just be labeled as a comedy, but.
Yeah, there's almost not enough here to be scared of. I mean,
I know.
You could argue at the end, it's almost laughable, the demon at the end. But
I mean, the demon's the best. Azrael or whatever his name is. He's cool, man. He's
Dude,
cool.
He's the man. Yeah, he's cool, man.
The sheet over him.
I know, he looks so funny. Where it's
actually, I just want to jump ahead because that's actually one of the things I really liked about this movie is how they interpreted ghosts with just a sheet over them. Everybody's walking around looking like they got sheets over them.
That's right. That's right.
I think I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Yeah, where do we get that image of a ghost? It's like, they walk around, no legs, they just kind of float, with the street. I love it. I think that's so great. So I watched this movie the first time. Jordan recommended it to me, and when I saw it had Will Forte, I was coming on high off of Last Man on Earth. I love Will Forte. I think he's so funny. MacGruber, all those silly movies, but Will Forte is just on a whole nother level. And he shows up in an episode of I Think You Should Leave. Jordan, have you watched that on Netflix, the first 2 seasons of I Think You Should Leave? It's the funniest sketch comedy show out there right now.
Oh, yeah?
It is so funny. Watch I Think You Should Leave. There is the funniest sketch where a hot dog mobile crashes through the wall of a retail store, and he's like, oh my gosh, who would do such a thing? Everyone's like, oh my gosh, someone could have been killed. And then the I Think You Should Leave host guy, he's like, yeah, who would do this? And he's dressed up in a hot dog costume. It is so funny. And he goes, yeah, we don't know who drove this vehicle through the wall. Hey, he could have killed someone. He's like, now why don't we just all close our eyes and whoever's responsible for this, get in the car and drive away. So funny. Just watch it. It is the funniest show on Netflix right now. I Think You Should Leave. Watch it.
That just reminds me of, he's like, they're all in the car. Kaboosh. MacGyver.
Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah, it's so great. And Will Forte shows up in an episode. It's hilarious. Watch I Think You Should Leave. Will Forte is so good. Guys, my favorite thing about this movie, and watching it, I watched it twice, Will Forte is so funny.
He is hilarious.
So funny. I don't know what his deal is. He is chewing the scenery. He is going at 110%. He is so funny. I'm so glad they got him. And again, Christian Winters, again, I love the idea that he was a Christian, but his name is Christian, but ironically he's like a devil worshiper, summons Satan, or a demon that wants to a virgin. It's very messed up. And Winters is a good.
Well, he doesn't want to. He wants to give them.
Well, but he has to offer up a virgin to a demon so he can be promised rich fame and fortune and better talent at writing music and performing music. Because after Cosmic Woman, love that song, by the way. So funny. It reminds me of music and lyrics. Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. It's not. It's so funny though that I love it. Cosmic Woman.
Yeah, Cosmic Woman. He's
this failed musician, and everyone's like, "Oh, you were the guy that did Cosmic Woman. I love your old stuff. You could come out with anything new lately." He's like a failed musician.
I'm working on it right now. It's coming soon.
Coming soon. I love it. And he's just meeting someone at a hardware store. So funny, dude. So yeah, I love it. And watching it a second time, there were so many jokes I forgot. Also, I liked picking up on more of the homages to other horror films, which I really, really loved. Let's get into it. 2 of our favorite things from this movie. I already said Will Forte, and then the second thing I will say is I love the callbacks. I think they did a really good job at every single person getting a really good character arc, a very good story arcs for all the characters throughout the movie. Loved it. I love how Martin gets an awesome character story arc about him and his deceased wife. Will Forte, his failed attempt at becoming famous and everything, and I loved it all. It's so good. I think that this is great storytelling and so funny on the laughs, guys. I'm laughing every few minutes. Yeah. So love this movie. So Nick, what about you? 2 of your favorite things from this movie?
Well, yeah, the first one, as I mentioned earlier, I again, the use of the sheets as ghosts, I thought that was just really creative. I really did like that. It's just the one thing that drew me. And the second thing, it's almost kind of like a love-hate thing. That ending, man, that like last ending. She said no, so I sat through the.
Yes. Will you marry me?
Yeah.
No.
And that like I actually sat through the credits twice, thinking that maybe there'd be something at the end that would just make it all better, but it didn't.
Yeah, the first time I watched it actually kind of made me mad. I was like, what?
Like, don't end it there, please.
I know. I almost wish I did, but to be fair, I almost feel like that's her humor, right? Like everything that we know about her,
that's true.
She would have said no. Like she wouldn't have been like, "Oh, romantic, yes." I thought it was so great because she was just like kind of scoffs, and she's like, "No," because just before it, she does say like, Martin says like, "You know how much you mean to me and to our daughter, right?" And she's like, "Yeah,
right.
you're family, you know," and they've already been romantically involved, so I'm sure she does say, but it threw me for a loop. The movie just ends. Will you marry me? No.
Great.
And the movie credits roll. That is so great.
Yeah.
Dude, only foreign films have the courage and the guts to do something like that, dude. Like it's Ireland, the folks from Ireland, man. Good on you, mate. That's such a great ending. But yeah, I love how you said love-hate, because it is. They're like, wait, okay, I'm sure there's going to be this end credit scene or something.
Yeah. And there was something at the end, just not what I was waiting for.
Wait, I don't remember. I remember seeing it the first time. What was the end credit? What happens?
I think it's just that her father comes back on again and says something.
Oh, does he come back on? That's hilarious.
Right at the very last, I think, like second.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Last couple seconds.
Another talent video.
Yeah, so I waited.
I forgive you for turning me into a dog pothole.
I thought he was going to say, and they lived happily ever after, blah, blah, blah.
Right. That's so funny.
No.
And what about you, Jordan? 2 of your favorite things from this movie?
Dang it, you took the best ones. Like, is his name Will Forte or William?
I think he just goes by Will Forte, but...
Okay, Will. I love him. He makes me laugh so hard, like Ty was saying. I'm like, how is he not in more comedy movies? Because he's so funny. And I'm so glad that he was a part of this film. I honestly think it elevated it to a whole nother level. I think I might have still enjoyed it, but he is definitely my favorite part of it.
And he is so funny as a villain, but he is really despicable, and yet you still, somewhere in your heart, kind of feel for him somehow. I don't know how it's possible.
You do.
Like, you do feel
He's
for him.
so innocent. He's so innocent. He just seems so innocent. Like, you're going to ruin it for the both of us.
Or even at the very end where he's literally hanging over hell. He's like clinging onto the side, and then his hairpiece comes off, and he's like, oh, and his hands let go of the ledge to grab his head and falls into hell. That is so funny. That's so good. Funny, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And talk about surprising. Like, I was not expecting him to slash his wife because he loved her so much.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Crazy.
I was like, why didn't he done that earlier in the movie? But
I know, he put up with her all this time, and she's like, why didn't you just sacrifice the bee? Or why didn't you just kill the bee, she kept saying. And then he just slices her throat right then and there.
She's caused him nothing but trouble. I mean, she blew up his first virgin.
Yes.
Who was probably a real virgin. I knew when he had that thing and it was pointing in the building that it wasn't pointing to the...
Oh, really?
Did you really?
I knew
That's
it.
hilarious.
I knew it. I'm like, that's because this is how that type of movie is going to be. It's going to be her.
Oh, good call.
She's
I
that
didn't
dorky
catch it
kind
the
of
first
girl
time.
that was just like, yeah.
No, it's funny, Nick, that you say that, because after I watched it the first time, I was like, I didn't understand the plot twist, but I also didn't catch the fact that the staff, it actually did its job. It was pointing to the store, but it was pointing to the customer of the store, the driver's ed instructor, Rose's character, rather than the daughter, Claudia. Yeah. So that's hilarious.
Oh, that just reminds me of that part when he was taking his gloves off.
Or not Claudia.
Pulling them off real slowly and putting the other gloves right back. She's just staring at him.
I'm gonna face my biggest fear: ducks. No.
Driving. That was my favorite part, you guys. That was I laughed through that whole part when he's just in the car. He's so scared. He's like, nope. She's like, that's the gas.
The accelerator just leans. And he's like,
he hits his head when he. I just want to go home now. I don't think I'm cut out for this.
Oh, it's so funny. He's bleeding too. Like, it smashes his face. Oh, it's so funny, dude.
It just adds to the innocence.
So pathetic, dude.
He is.
I love it.
I love that he
Man,
brings his own little lunchbox. I love everybody brings their own little lunch.
everyone has lunch in the car. Everyone brings a snack to eat. I
brought a sandwich.
The food in this movie, my favorite, when she like makes the little rosemary protective charm around the daughter at the bed, and she's like, "I also need some Tabasco and some paisley." He's like, "What's that for?" He goes, "Oh, I brought this frozen pizza. I'd like you to pimp it out." It's so funny. Pimp out this frozen pizza. It's so funny, dude. Love it.
There are so many good quotes in this. I think that's one of my second favorite. I
yeah.
love the scene where he's in the car and she's talking to him. She's like, "Oh, so what have you been up to?" And he's, I've got a fiance.
Yeah, so what are you up to?
No, I'm just making-
Are you up to anything tonight? Oh, I'm engaged. I was just making driver instructor conversation. So
I am
funny.
not hitting on you.
I love it. And I love my favorite, the first time I watched it, and even this time here, I died when the answering machine goes on, and it's like, "Hey, this is Rose's driving instructor, leave a message." And if you're calling about the other thing, it's like, I haven't done that for years. Leave me alone. It was so funny. The voice talk is at first I'm like, wait, what is he talking about? And like, I was like, what the? And then you're like, oh, like her whole past life of like the demon, seance stuff and all the, talking to the dead. It's so funny.
That's her talent.
Yeah, her talent, right? Speaking to the dead. She can't speak to the dead.
She has a crippling fear. Because her dad got trapped in a hole and...
Oh, no. Well, yeah, a dog was trapped in a pothole, right? Like this vortex hole.
He got trapped in between two things.
The because she said the seance,
and the dog.
And then he became part dog that he was trying to rescue out of
I
there.
thought he was part bird. I thought the bird was him.
No, he's all good like that. He escaped and got into something else.
Yeah. I think that was like his spirit in essence lived on after that, but he was trapped as a pothole dog. I don't know what that means. He's part pothole and dog, which is so funny, by the way, because I love in movies when you have a character that's like, "Oh, I can't do the thing that I did because like it'll ruin everything," and it's something as menial as like some old hag is like dog is stuck in a pothole vortex and like. She didn't remember the seance perfectly, so the dad became part dog. And then she gets hit by a bus. Like, it's so stupid. It was, like, so avoidable. Like, it was so funny. And
it was so avoidable. That's crazy.
It was just like, I love that because, like, there's always, like, oh, this happened to me, and it's, like, really dark and deep, but it's, like, it's this silly thing. But when she was a kid, you can kind of understand how that would be super upsetting. I just love it, though.
You think it's going to go some way different direction, and then he gets hit by a bus. You're like, what? It had nothing to do with you.
Yeah, you're like, maybe he was driven mad and then lived out his years as a part pothole / dog. Like, what would that look like? And it's just so funny. No, he just got hit by a bus. It's like hardly her fault. It's not like she did. She just didn't remember the words properly and the spell went wrong. So it's so funny. I love it. And I love the quirky humor. Like there's so many funny like.
When they're following
his name
them, Martin.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny. It's like it's Martin.
I love when they're like following them bumper to bumper and it's like really intense music and then there's like moving super slow.
She's like floating down the street. It should be like this really terrifying image, but and then she's like, "Oh, this is taking too long," and she drives and grabs her by the foot and drags her like a tailing balloon. It's so funny. Claudia's holding onto her foot as she's like flinging her arms like behind her. She's being pulled. I thought that was so funny, dude.
So funny.
Oh my gosh. I loved. Well, I don't want to take all the things. You guys have quotes or other favorite things.
Well,
you
and
guys
I like the videos and just like when the guys touch that goat and it explodes. That was priceless.
You can't wake a sleeping goat. Everybody does
like,
that.
Why?
It just pops, dude. It's just smeared blood everywhere. The people in the video, so funny. I love it. Oh my word. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Will Forte and the demonic chanting he would do, like his eyes would roll in the back of his head. He's like just like mumbling to himself. So funny.
Or he's playing that song, Satan. Satan. So good. There's so many little things in this movie that I love.
So many.
Oh, it's so great. I also love I like the relationships. Like everyone, and the relationship to food. I love that his dead wife would get upset with him with like the dishes and everything. He's like, oh, you're right. You know, she threw the plate out of the dishwasher. And he goes, I put a bowl in the plate rack. So he's throwing dishes everywhere, and you almost think like it's gonna be like a super sweet girl, but then like you meet her, it's just like the super foul mouth, like cigarette smoking.
Cigarette pops out. Yeah.
I loved it. Martin was like abused by this poor woman. This poor guy was abused by this terrible woman. It's so funny. And the dad is super sweet, like to his daughter. I love that. Like they have the whole conversation. He's like, I'm just barely holding it together. You know, I don't want you ending up some homeless maniac on the street snorting hash. Like it's so funny. Like who talks to their daughter like that? I love it. It's so great. And then one of my favorite things about the humor in this is always about a double meaning or like a misunderstanding. So like one of my favorite moments is when they have the lunch inside the car and he's like, I haven't been honest with you. I know how to drive. Like he's like a full grown man wearing like his daughter's sunglasses, pretending he can't drive.
I love those sunglasses. I was gonna say that to cover up his abuse.
Yeah, his wife hits him with the cover door.
Wife,
It's so funny. He's hiding. Also he's like, I just got to convince my daughter that I talked to you, but I'm not really going to talk to you about this thing. But I really love about what he says. He goes, when he's like, I haven't been honest with you. And Rose's response was like, oh, you wanted the other juice box. Why is that so funny? Every single thing they say, they're like, oh, like, because it was a conversation happened off screen. Again, this movie's really quick, very witty, and it's so funny. Like, jokes that you wouldn't catch otherwise, but that's so funny. And what I really liked, there was really clever camera work too. When she first rejects Martin and was like, I can't help you, I can't talk to your dead wife, I don't do that anymore. It's really cool how the camera pans over to Rose's half of the car and outside of the car, and you no longer see Martin in shot, and he just gets out of the car. I really liked that. I don't know why. It was just like, it was really good of like a way of showing like her is being shut off, shuts him down, and was like, I'm not gonna have any part of this, refusing the call to action, you know, in this movie. I don't know, just like really clever, like really well done, shot, choreographed. Like it means so much more when you see the camera work mixed with the story and the relationships to the character. Just love that. It's really expert filmmaking. It's really good. But my goodness.
And this was a low-budget film, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. Like, I mean...
And dude, it didn't gross much. It didn't make much.
I know, and I think that's
just... It didn't make much.
Well, and again, at the end, or at the beginning, you see all the different producers in the film. Like, this was an Ireland film, so it's, like, technically, like, a foreign film, technically. But, you know, you have, like, Will Forte, who probably helped bring it to some American audiences, made it more accessible to them, but... This is just one of those movies that not enough people have heard about, you know? And it's so good. And it came out in 2020. That was, I think, a really hard time for movies in general. But, man, this movie is so good. Everyone needs to see this movie. This is why we're reviewing it on the podcast. We want more people to see this movie and watch it.
It's a good movie.
Great movie, dude. I love really sweet moments, again, with all the food. I mean, like, after he leaves the car, she's like... She picks up the tinfoil sandwich and she, like, presses to his face. And she's like, he said I'm warm. That was so funny. Oh, it's so funny.
Dude, I love when she confuses those things when he was like talking about The Exorcist. She's like, no, I haven't met him. Or when he was talking about Ghostbusters, she's like, no, I haven't read that book.
Yeah. I love how she's lived all these things because she goes, exorcisms usually involve like head spinning around, crucifixes and stuff like that. And then she's like, oh, like The Exorcist. And she's like, no, I haven't met him. Like, I think it's so, it's like, holy crap. So she's seen all this crap in real life. Like, she was only a little girl, poor thing. She's probably so messed up. Poor Rose. Love it. So I thought that was great. And the relationship to food. There's a really funny thing, like at the very beginning, where he's talking to his daughter, Rose is talking to her sister, Sailor, or leaving a voice message and was like, hey, you know, we're not going to hang out tonight, so you can just eat that lasagna or whatever. And then she, like, goes up to the lasagna and just starts stabbing it in the face. Like, the little logo of the bird just starts stabbing it with a knife. I don't know. I thought that was so funny. Like, her relationship to food is super funny in this movie. Super relatable, too. Like, you know, Rose is not like your stereotypical, like, gorgeous babe. She's like this middle-aged, overweight woman. It's just so funny. Like, she's so great.
Funny.
She's charismatic. I'm like, what else has this girl been in?
I'm not a virgin.
You're not a virgin. At the very end, the big reveal where they're like, she'll do just fine.
She'll do. Yeah. He points at her. Yeah.
And the daughter, you know.
And she does that little face. She does that like little chin movement. You know, what do you mean?
No, of course
I'm
I'm
not
not a
a
virgin.
virgin.
Yeah, it's like office humor. It's super awkward. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I just love the term "pimp out the pizza." I love it. Tabasco sauce, rosemary. Like, take a frozen pizza, add some more toppings on it, pimp it out. I love it. I'm gonna use that. I think that's so funny. But one other scene. I love when she's like, everything's starting to go good for her, and she's driving to the castle, and she's just like, because after Martin's kind of hit on her, made a pass at her or whatever, she's like, "Hello, toaster. Hello, little branch." Like, these are like little ghosts, like like when a branch moves, it means a ghost. And then she's like, "Hello, little ghost lady," and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were dead." It's like this old woman. I love it. That was so funny. I thought you were dead. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
It's just a cute, quirky, fun.
Yeah,
film.
it is very quirky. And then like everyone that died in this movie, like the Martin's wife, he was a carpenter and he made this cute little wall clock, and he's like, yeah, on the wall clock it would be me and my wife when we'd come out and meet in the middle and we'd kiss under a cuckoo bird, and then it fell off the wall and hit her in the head and killed her. It's like, sorry, it wasn't a very good story. It's just so random, like killed by a cuckoo clock that he made for her. It's like so sad. Oh my gosh, everyone dies like super funny in this movie. So, that's great. And then lastly was just really funny when Will Forte realizes that it's not the teenager that's the virgin. He's just like, because he offered this non-virgin to the demon, and he's like, "I am flabbergasted. Kids start so early these days." Why is that so funny? Like, I had no idea. He's so funny. Oh my gosh, Will Forte, man, great movie, man. Okay, and so lastly, I just wanted to say, and I'll stop talking. I just love the homages to their movies. There's a great scene where Rose is standing outside the house with the light coming in through the second-story window.
Oh yes, Exorcist.
Exactly, from The Exorcist. Very paying homage to that, and they even mention the movie in title, and Ghostbusters, all the fun stuff, the ectoplasm, it's so gross. They keep spitting up like white foam into it almost happens too much in my opinion.
Oh, did that make you gag, Nick?
No. Just watch it.
Got there though.
Yeah. It's just like after you watch it so many times, you're like, that is disgusting. Like, but it was a little funny. I love that she doesn't tell him how it happens the first time, because he's like, how will we know after? He's like, how will we collect this ectoplasm? She's like, I'll tell you later. And he like throws it up in the cup. It's so gross. She like didn't want to tell him. It's like, yeah, that's not. Anyway, I thought that was so great. Yeah, I love this movie. Would you guys recommend this movie?
Yes.
Extraordinary is a hard yes for me. Everyone should see this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
So funny. And we have to talk about the ending. Like, so Rose is being carried off to hell by a bunch of demons. And then she's like, Martin, let's just... So while she's being dragged to hell, they and then it's like, I can't take her to hell. Because she literally has...
I just love, like, everybody is screaming at the same time.
Yes.
So
That
great.
is so funny. Yeah, baby's being born from Sailor. The Will Forte's screaming. I don't remember why he's screaming. He's just like angry, so desperate. Everyone's screaming, and that weird politician dude or whatever, the boyfriend, Sailor's boyfriend. I don't remember his part to play in all this, but he's like, shut up. Like, when we need to, we'll talk. And then he ended up being useful somehow at the end. I thought that was great. So many funny character arcs and just lots of moments of humor. So good. Guys, we end every podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately and movies that we're looking forward to seeing.
Staff has an image on the tip of it.
And then it has like two little down below too. Like, it's literally just on a giant staff.
And she touches them. She's like, "Ooh, what's that?" And she smells her finger as she's walking away.
I was waiting for her to get touch him, because he was always wearing gloves. Because remember, she can see things. I thought for sure she was gonna bump him or something and see what he had done.
Yeah, she touched Martin and figures out. Yeah, I thought there would be another reveal with that, but because she touches Martin and knows, she feels like, what does she get from that again? Does she just feel?
She didn't.
No, because remember, it's in the car the first time when he comes into the vehicle. When she first reaches over for the car, I don't know if he reaches for the seatbelt or the stick shift.
But
she feels something. She has their talent, and it notifies
yeah, but
her.
I think it's
about Martin.
fabric. I don't think it's him. I don't think she gets to feel. I think she missed his hand. Because I thought the same thing.
Well, she had something. She felt something or something. Saw a vision, had the talent to come into play, where maybe she knew that he was being
Something sparked the radio.
Yeah, remember? Because then it turned on the radio, right? Yeah.
Something turned on the radio.
So something happened. I think it was their connection, or just, she had the talent, and so maybe she knew that he was being haunted by his ex-wife, or his dead, wife, or whatever, maybe. I don't know. But there was something to that. And you're right, it doesn't play into effect with Will Forte's character, which is interesting. They don't really address that ever again. But yeah, she has the ability.
I thought she was going to touch him or something and see all the horrible things he'd done.
Well, he hadn't done too many horrible things, because a lot of it, let's be real, all that we know about Christian Winters is so he did willingly offer up this lady, but his wife was the one that woke her from her sleep and she blew up.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this is the second time he's done it, because the first song he got was a hit. I'm pretty sure that's because he sold the soul.
Oh, wait a second. So you think So you think the only reason he made Cosmic Woman is because of the? I thought, really? I loved that thought. So
I would agree with that. I think he used it before and he was doing it again.
Really, guys, I love that. I didn't
you
get
thought
that.
He was just desperate to get famous again.
He was a failed musician, so he's so pathetic. He turned to seances.
Dude,
and
he's awful.
Demons. He is awful. Oh. Yeah, Cosmic Woman isn't even a good song, but I figured he was just a failed musician that turned to... That's hilarious. So you're saying the only reason that Cosmic Woman was good was because it was a deal with the devil. I like that.
It was not good. That's why you look at the...
It's the only reason.
You see how many fans in the stages he was playing? Ones that major rock stars would play, and his song sucks.
He's playing at the Rose Garden, Madison Square Garden. It's just packed.
It's just packed up,
So because he did the demonic seance earlier with the Virgin, he got promised this song that would be a hit, even though it's a terrible song. So I guess that's the power of the demon. That's so
funny. You think he never killed anybody except his wife. That's funny.
Yeah, well, see, that's why, it's consistent with his character. He's such a weasel, and he's such a baby. He's such a beta. I mean, he's slapped around.
But whipped. It just seemed like he had done that before, the seance thing, because he was so cavalier and chill about it.
My assumption was just ever since he had been a failed musician, because they refer to it as being a long time since his last hit. And I didn't know that it was just the power of the devil wearing off, so he needed to sacrifice another one to get another famous hit. I didn't know that. I just assumed that he was a failed musician, and after all these years, he's gone from, he can't come up with any creative songs, so he just started turning to devil worship.
That's definitely a possibility, but I think it's...
No, I think we're to assume that. The only reason that the song worked is because demonic powers at B pushed the song to popularity, because who else would listen to... It's laughably bad. It's not good. It's Cosmic Woman. So dumb. Yeah. So funny. I love it. I love that reading, Nick. See, and you've seen it twice. I've seen it twice, but I've had longer viewings in between too. But if you've seen them back to back, I can believe that. I think you picked that up.
I'm trying to think if there's any specific references to it.
Right.
That would point to that direction, and I just can't think of any. But I
assume the same thing, Nick.
Yeah.
Maybe he does. Great. I think some things that he does say, kind of...
Yeah, the whole interview at the beginning where they do the 60 Minutes thing where they're like, Alex Winter from famous musician to failed artist, and he goes, hey, she told me she wasn't going to bring up my debt. That's why I don't do interviews. I love that. Oh my gosh, Christian Winters, man. So great. I love the ironic name too, Christian. And he's literally summons demons. And then Winters kind of suggesting that his Christian days are past. And then Winter, cold. He's a cold Christian. He's now a hot, flaming demon worshiper. So anyway, that's just me reading too much into the movie maybe, but I like that. Subtlety, Okay, guys. Nick, we end every podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately and movies that we're looking forward to seeing. Have you seen anything lately?
I have not.
No good documentaries, Nick? What?
No, just I've been so busy lately, I just haven't had time to watch anything. But on my free time, I just kind of been watching that Ancient Aliens. Ooh, Ancient Aliens.
Ancient Aliens. What is that? Is that a series or what is it?
Yeah, it's a history series. It's kind of interesting. Some of it's boring, but there's some interesting theories in there. I don't want to get too far into it because there's a lot of theories in there.
Yeah, what do you think about all the new declassified stuff about the unidentified flying objects coming out from the intelligence community?
It's a lot of interesting stuff. When we go back, I think that I very strongly believe that we were, in fact, visited by aliens a long time ago.
Oh, did they build the pyramids? Did they do the markings?
I don't know.
Giza?
No, I don't think they built the pyramids. I don't think they built that stuff because they try to make those arguments. And I don't know, man. I'm not an architect, and I'm not a whatever. People study that stuff, but there are some compelling arguments that can be made that people were here.
I definitely believe they're out there. I don't know if
Yeah.
they visited us. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet.
I think they came a long time ago, and there's a lot of other theories. We could be creations of them. Oh, I'm just kidding. We're not, obviously, but there's that theory as well. There's that theory as well that angels were mistaken for aliens.
There you go.
And all the lights, all the stuff.
We're all just a bunch of apes created out of test tubes and vials from aliens. There you go. And they left us here to rot, and they're observing us until we're ready to... I hope we're not their food. That's what I'm afraid of. They're like, we have a farm. It's ready to harvest. We left you here years ago.
I don't think we're their food. I think they want to help us.
Awesome. Well, why would they be so... My only knock on it all is like, guys, we live in a digital age. Like, everyone's got a fetching HD camera on their phone. Like, how is it that we have like there was a lot more sightings of aliens back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and it's like we had crappy equipment, you know, some guy on like some crappy phone or video camera, and like it's always fuzzy, the images are always blurry, and then like now we have like these nice new cameras, giant camera, and like we can't capture a single a single image or picture or video of these things. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I believe that there's life out there. I just don't think that we've ever been visited to this point.
No, I think most of that new stuff is just baloney. But I mean, look back at some of the ancient drawings and all of that stuff, and what our ancestors saw. I mean, they saw all these things, and there's consistencies amongst people and nations from very, very far stretches. And, you know, they draw these depictions and pictures. Well, even people that they're seeing something and they're drawing it. They don't understand possibly what they're seeing, and they're interpreting in their drawings as a certain way. So maybe seeing like a dragon with flames coming out of it. Maybe that's the spaceship coming down, but they don't understand flying objects like that. So it's just very interesting. It's very interesting. What did they see?
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week for what they saw.
What they saw.
What they saw.
Nick's got the inside scoop. You have to let me know how that history documentary ends, dude. I want to know.
Well, no, it's like a lot of seasons. I'm on like season 2.
There you go. So you're just at the cusp.
There's like 11.
Holy crap. You jump ahead to season 11, they're like, it turns out aliens aren't real, but thanks for watching.
I'm gonna be watching this back and forth, you know, like lunch, whatever, for a long time. So
love it, dude.
I might actually watch it right now. You got me thinking about it.
Hey, Nick, are you looking forward to seeing anything?
What do you recommend?
I would highly not recommend Black Widow. I mean,
no, I wasn't planning on it. I didn't even know that was out.
It was the only movie that seemed like a safe bet. I figured I would enjoy it, and can't even say that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was just fine.
Did your wife enjoy it?
No, in fact, so the one critique she had was like, oh, I don't like this. Like at the very beginning, there's like little girls being kidnapped, and that's just not something that my wife likes. It's very stressful.
So your date night was. So your rare date night was to a movie that neither of you liked.
Yeah, tragically it was. In fact, I even told my wife afterwards, I was like, I'm no longer going to take chances on movies. We're going to go out, go to dinner, a nice restaurant, and I'd much rather just talk than go see movies at the theater. Because I was just saying, Nick, before in the last episode of the podcast, they're sacrificing good storytelling with messaging and activism. I'm sorry, they are. It's just, it's belligerent and fragrant at this point. It's just... It's fragrant. It's abhorrent. It's sour. It's just bad. Anyway. I could go on and on, but don't recommend Black Widow.
I keep recommending Nobody. Have you seen it yet?
Oh, Nick, you gotta see Nobody. That's art.
I know. I have to see Nobody.
Gotta see it, dude. I saw it for sale on Blu-ray for like $20. I was like, maybe I should go buy the copy.
Well, why don't you just wait until I come out there? We can watch it.
Ooh. It's not bad. We could watch it together. I'd be down watching that. We should do a John Wick 3 Nobody premiere or whatever. Watch the 2 movies back to back. That does sound like a good time.
All for you, Jordan.
All for you, Jordan.
We'll pop some popcorn
for your bachelor party,
well,
Jordan.
You know what?
Woo-hoo. Jordan, you're getting married. We gotta have a bachelor party, man.
Yeah.
Be a rager. Movies, popcorn. What does this say? She's like, that doesn't count. He's like, what about Mitch O'Donnell? And he's like, it was just the
Yeah, it's just Oh, I get it. Oh, I see.
I see. It's so funny. So dumb. Oh my gosh. Take care of him. I'll take care of his I was talking about him and the daughter. But yes, take care of his too. Take care of them. Oh my gosh, so funny. Real quick, make a shout out if you have a social media presence.
Oh yeah,
tell us
Nick.
where we find you.
Those shoes.
Those shoes.
Yeah, shoes.
Tell people where they can find your shoes.
Yeah, find my shoes at Auxxit, AUXXIT. Just download on the App Store. And Sneakers and Streetwear. Check us out.
Dope. Lit AF, man.
Dope.
Nick.
Fire.
Yeah, fire.
No.
Fire.
Jordan hates that word, but he doesn't use it right.
Fire.
I remember the first time he said it, I'm like, no.
No, you're not doing it right.
Just stick to the.
It's lit
Nerd
dank,
stuff.
man. Lit dank.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are embarrassing yourselves.
I'm not even saying ironically, folks. Everybody, this is Future Hit Movie Gems. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a like, 5 stars. Leave us a review. Helps other people hear about our podcast. And if you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, all the social media platforms, like us, follow us, and get our content. And if you want to pay us, you can go to our Patreon. Thanks again. This is Future Hit Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Satan.
Leave me alone. I'm summoning a demon.
Satan.
I'm doing an incantation. Satan.